This is the Porsche Macan GTS, and it's a car that blends everything into one. It's got the looks, performance, practicality, and this Macan makes a proper noise. A petrol-powered Macan is now a thing of the past. It's got 440 horsepower and all-wheel drive. You can certainly see why this is Porsche's best-selling car. And in today's review, I'm going to give you my thoughts why I think the Macan is just a sports car in disguise. I'm Max Attavani. Welcome to Driven Plus. The Macan is a mid-sized SUV, and compared to other mid-sized SUV, you may think the Macan is on the lighter side of them all, you know, because it's a Porsche, all about lightweight and the driving experience, right? Well, think again. Porsche's smallest SUV weighs 2 tons. So I'm sat here now thinking, where did they get all that weight from? Well, it's got a relatively big engine, that's for starters. We'll touch on the engine very soon, so stay tuned and we're going to launch it, see what we get from 0 to 60. It's also got an all-wheel drive system and air suspension. And remember, it's a very plush place to be. And I think the Macan is the perfect sized SUV if you value comfort, luxury, and a bloody good drive. This thing drives awesome, this thing, and as you can hear, the engine sounds sweet too. And one thing I like about the Macan is it doesn't feel ridiculously big on the road, especially for an SUV. It feels like a sports car jacked up. And I get that this is the old Macan now, but from an enthusiast perspective like me, this is the only Macan that exists because it has an engine. Speaking of which, let's check it out. So the Macan GTS uses a 2.9 litre twin-turbo V6 engine, and this engine is used across the VAG range in cars such as the Audi RS4 and RS5. However, this is slightly detuned. It still produces great horsepower though, 434 horsepower and 550 Newton meters of torque. Now, the first generation Macan GTS uses a 3 litre V6 and it transitioned to this 2.9 litre in 2020. Porsche say this will do a 0 to 60 time of 4.3 seconds, so let's find out. Now, as we all know, Porsche is another manufacturer who are very conservative about their numbers. Numerous times I've launched Porsches and they've always got better than what Porsche state. So on your screen now are the stats and figures on this car. Pause your screen if you'd like to look into them. Now, to put this car on launch control, got to have Sport Plus, traction control clicked off once, and yeah, we're good to go. Here we go, let's see what we're going to get. Makes a beautiful noise. Wow, that's a lot of grip. This is definitely going to beat that time. 4 seconds flat. Yeah, it's beat it already. But I'd like to go once more to see if we can just creep into the high 3s, because that would be really, really nice. And there was a slight wheel spin when I just let off the brake pedal. So let's see, run number 2. Okay, here's run 2. The pickup is so good, and the gear changes are rapid. Oh, what we got there? 4 point, can't see from here, 4.14, I think. Oh, I don't think we're going to creep into the 3s today. I don't want to continuously launch this car. However, it is 0.3 seconds quicker. Well, both runs have been quicker than what Porsche state. 4 seconds flat from this car is seriously impressive, but it's not quicker than the X3M though. So if you want to watch the launch of my X3M, which I reviewed, not my X3M, but the X3M which I reviewed, go into our channel and type in X3M. But anyway, guys, that's what it stacks up against. And let's go back to the review. So before I carry on with the video, I'd like to say a huge thanks to those who watch, like, subscribe, interact. I really appreciate it. However, 93% of you who do watch aren't subscribed. So please just hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, doesn't cost you a thing. You're not going to get unnecessary spam. All you're going to get is just my latest videos popping up on your feed. And 2 videos per week, all different types of cars. I've got some incredible things lined up for you guys. Anyway, guys, let's crack on with the video. Now, this car is full, and I mean full to the brim of optional extras. And where do I even start first? Well, let's start with these grab handles on the roof. They're finished in leather, and they cost an extra £500. Another thing is the leather on the dash there. That's all very nice. It's very plush in here. It's a lovely place to be. I just like the layout and cabin and feel of this car. Another thing is these 18-way adjustable sport seats, really comfortable. You can change them to anything. You're not going to get uncomfortable in these seats, and these are heated in the front and also in the rear. You get ionizer, that's an optional extra, and the carbon fibre. Carbon fibre is everywhere, my friend, in here. Got on the dash, by the dials, on the steering wheel, on the column. It's got a heated steering wheel. You've got carbon fibre on the gear stick as well. There's loads of stuff going on in here, and there behind there is your digital driver's display and your rev counter in the middle and your speedometer on the left. Sockets wise, well, this is the funny thing, and the owner shown this out to me before, Barry. He said, I watched many reviews, and not many reviews show where the 12-volt socket is, so I'm going to show you where the 12-volt socket here, and it's down here. So you have to take this flap out down here. You have to take that out, and there is your 12-volt socket. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain, that, isn't it? And I get they're going for the clean look, and they've hidden that, but that's a bit of a nuisance because you have to take out that flap, which isn't the easiest thing to do. But anyway, behind them is your cup holders. You get Porsche embossed onto the center console here, and in there is there's a wireless charging pad. Oh, yes. Wireless charging pad there. There's like a little flap for your phone to go in. You've got two USB-C sockets down there and a SIM card too. And one thing I love about this car is the interior colour. These seats are just magnificent, aren't they? I love the two-tone colour in this car. And here's your massive infotainment screen here. It will run Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well. It's touch screen, but you can also control it via these buttons. Two buttons on the left here. Sport chrono there. And what's your glove box like? Let's have a look. That's a huge size, if I was to be honest. You've got carbon fibre on the door cards too. Steering wheel is lovely. I love the minimal approach Porsche have gone with the Macan. It's a lovely place to be. But I would say the only thing that's missing, which hasn't been spec'd, is a panoramic sunroof. That would have probably finished off this car to have literally every optional extra. And speaking of optional extras, let me show you some of the carbon fibre on the exterior. The exterior carbon fibre touches include this side sill here with the GTS logo there. It's a fantastic looking thing, isn't it? And especially these alloy wheels too. Beautiful. So you're now maybe thinking, well, Max, that car has a lot of optional extras. How much does that cost? Well, I'm going to tell you now. This car brand new in 2023 would have cost you over £90,000. That's a lot of money, considering it's not even Porsche's flagship SUV. However, though, in the used car market, these are about £70,000 to £80,000, depending on spec, mileage. This has great spec and low mileage, so this is going to be on the top end. So yes, it's a lot of money to part with at first, but when you compare it to the BMW, Audi and all the Mercedes things you're going to compare it to, it's more money, but I think you're going to lose less money in the long run because these things are holding their value. The Macan isn't the most practical out of its competitors. It offers 488 litres of boot space. It's still a good sized boot when you compare against Audi, BMW, Mercedes. They come in at 550 litres. So you are struggling a little bit for space there. But when we bring the boot down, which is all controlled via the button, that's what you'd expect because you're paying such a high price tag for this car. Love the Porsche logo there, Macan GTS, and the quad tailpipes, and a little bit there of a diffuser. And in case you're wondering what this car sounds like, here it is. If you're looking for a fast, mid-sized SUV. Well, funnily enough, I asked that same exact question when I last reviewed a BMW X3M competition. Now, if you want to watch my review on that car, click on the pop-up banner now. And yes, the X3M does go against this car. You also got the Mercedes GLC 63 AMG, the Alfa Romeo Stelvio QV thing. So what's my thought and what's my verdict? Well, I feel as if I'm sat in the better car out of them all. It's built better, the use of materials, it's more premium, and of course you have to pay for that. But I think the better all-rounder is still the X3M, and they are cheaper in the second-hand market. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. It depends what you want, because this car is relatively small compared to those cars. X3M and all those other cars, as I mentioned before, has a bigger boot space, so they're more practical. But if you're wanting the best all-rounder, I think, is the X3M, because this cabin is lovely. It feels a little bit smaller than the X3M. You get more space in that car, whereas in this you feel more penned in, you feel more driver focused. I mean, it's a Porsche at the end of the day, it's doing its job. Now, this car produces a lot of power, and we're going to put our foot down in a minute just so you can understand how fast this car is. I mean, you already would have known since we've launched it as well. However, when you look at X3M, AMG and the Alpha, they all produce minimum 500 horsepower. So this at 434 is down on power compared to those other offerings, and they all weigh the same as well, so it's not as if weight is in the argument here. I'm not saying this car lacks power because it's very fast, but what I'm saying is it would have been nice to see the Macan have at least 500 horsepower. I mean, yes, you could take this to a tuning shop and get 500 horsepower. However, saying that, I think the Macan is the sweet spot when we come at Porsche's SUV lineup if you're wanting a really dynamic drive and practicality. The Cayenne is fantastic as that, but it's not as fun as this, if you ask me. But that's without spending silly money and going and buying the Cayenne Turbo GT, which is my dream SUV actually. Now, although this uses the same engine from the Audi RS4 and 5, there is one big difference though, and that's this thing right here. Its gearbox. This thing uses a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, aka the PDK. Better than any ZF if you ask me. And the RS5, I've tested an RS5 with this engine. If you want to watch my review on that car, click on the pop-up banner now. And that car uses a ZF torque converter. So what's the difference between a dual clutch and a torque converter? Well, for me, I just think a dual clutch is more responsive. Put my foot down now. The way it kicks down is lovely. And the upshifts are just so... Upshifts? The upshifts are so crisp in this car. And we're going to put this car in manual mode at the minute. And the gearbox, like most Porsche, you can just tilt them to the left and you're in manual. You can't do it with this. So if you want to put this car in manual mode, it's all via the paddles on the steering wheel. Downshift sound. Ooh, some burbles there as well. So let's see how engaged it is. Oh, so quick. It's so engaging, so responsive. Oh, this is why you buy an SUV Porsche if you value engagement, because it just gives you such a good drive. Oh, the noise this thing makes as well. And one thing I've got to comment on is the materials and just the premium feel of the paddles. I mean, they're made out of metal, and you know, just like the feedback you get from your fingers when you depress them is lovely. And oh, lovely. But what's it like if we take it out of manual mode and we're just cruising along? Because 9 times out of 10, if you're buying a Macan, you're buying it for everyday use, aren't you? And one good thing about this gearbox is it's just seamless. You can hardly notice the gears change, and that's what you want to hear, isn't it? Because you're using this car for pretty much your everyday commute. And it's also worth knowing that if you want to put it through some corners and you want an engaging drive, it bloody gives you it. So the Macan is tipped to be one of the best handling SUVs out there. So I'm really intrigued to see what it's like, because this is my first time driving this thing. So let's see what it's like shifting its 2-ton weight. And this is a good road. We've got a tight bend coming up here. First thing we're going to test is the brakes. See what they're like. And they're very good. This thing also has torque vectoring as well. So you put it through a tight bend. Oh, it's incredible, this thing. And the way it just maintains high speeds, and it stays flat, it doesn't float one bit. It's amazing. It really is. It's fantastic. That's what it is. Wow, I'm genuinely surprised. How does it do all that? I have to say, the steering feel is very good. I love the Porsche steering wheels. They're lovely and thin and feels very premium. Got another tight bend coming up here. Let's see what you actually like. Of course, this is air suspension, and it can also lower the ride height when you put it in Sport Plus. So obviously lowers the center of gravity. This thing is unreal in a corner for an SUV. I would say it's probably the best handling SUV I've ever driven. Definitely better than the Range Rover Sport SV and RSQ8, and they're both very good handling SUVs. But this, as I said before, it's mid-size, it's smaller than those cars, it handles better than the X3M, handles better than the Alpha. This is the one to go if you've got the money. Now, although this uses the same engine from the RS5, you already know that because I've told you this a million times in the review already, But it is slightly detuned, 10 horsepower less than the one found in the RS5. But one thing which is for definite is the noise this thing makes. I just think it sounds better than that car, maybe because Porsche put in fake noise through the speakers, but again, it's a petrol V6, it's naturally going to sound good anyway. So we're going to engage boost mode. So the sport response, you just press the, can't remember the specific name for it, but you just press the drive mode on the steering wheel and it gives you a bit more boost, shall we say. And of course, just put it through the corners again. How can we not? It's got a beautiful tone to it, isn't it? I don't know, you have a listen. What's your thoughts on the Macan GTS? Well, for me, it literally drives like a jacked up sports car. This car has genuinely surprised me today in terms of how good it is in the corners, the noise, and I think if you're going to compare it to its competitors, by far it's the best handling. It's the most premium, and as I said before, if you've got the money, do it, because for me, driving this car today, there's a clear difference between this and its competitors. But I'd like to say a massive thanks to Barry for letting me get a review on this car today. And if you like the look of this particular Macan, believe it or not, it is for sale. So get in touch with us, we'll put you in touch with Barry, and then you can sort something else. But anyway guys, leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.